This is Seafood 101. I'm going to do a quick little demo for you, from you folks. Chef Paul, Chef Nadia, and myself, we're going to do a couple of different seafood dishes. Unfortunately, I did not pick up a lobster. I'll probably do that down the road another day and show you how to kill it and how to cook it properly. What I'm going to show you is how to shuck clams and oysters. You don't really shuck mussels. Mussels really don't serve raw. So what I'll show you first is this is called a shell stock. What is it?
Shelf stock tag.
Shell stock tag. These are all going to be all on your clams and mussels and oysters. Like I said before, it'll be a bushel. It'll usually be a netted back. And what the shell stock tag will say, what water was shipped out, came out of, and when it was pulled from the ocean. All right. According to ServSafe, they got to keep this on file for at least 1 year. All right.
I know 90 days.
90 days until you sell the last one. Okay. All right. So what we have here, just local clams, local oysters. The best oysters out there right now is something called blue point. Those are probably the best oysters.
Hold up.
These are local. These are Jersey oysters. Then we got regular mussels. All right. So you got two different types of equipment you can be using. This is for your clams, and this is for your oysters. Oysters gonna have a little tip at the end. Right?
Sorry.
That's so you can get into the hole. All right. So what you want to do? Anytime you do clams, oysters, and mussels, I recommend have a cut glove on or some type of glove. Or if you don't have a cut glove, wrap it with a towel. Because these things hurt when they jam into your skin. Alright, so there's a little hole right here, and you want to get underneath, and you want to give it a little twist. Alright? It's strong. Alright, so once you get it in, you give it a little twist, and it'll pop open. Just wiggle it out. You want to scrape the top because there's also some meat on top.
Oh, there's a pearl in there.
Want to rinse it
Don't
off
say
real
that.
fast. It's getting sand. I'll pass these over to Chef Paul.
Oh, that one you messed up on. Just let me eat it.
And you saw that
That's
liquid
Tom's
coming out?
good.
They usually call that the liquor.
Sorry.
That's all that juice and flavor from. Clams, want to hold it in here like this, and take your clam knife, and it's like a little ridge. Once you get it in, give it a little wiggle. You want to scrape the top.
Yeah, that's a good one.
These over to Chef Paul. Chef Paul, these yours too?
Sorry.
Are you ready to begin? Or you Chef Nadia do the first one?
Okay.
And then we'll,
I'll start one. So I usually have you guys do raviolis and all sorts of things, but we kind of like today. So when Chef Ron does the lobster, we'll do other dishes. So what I'm going to show you today is just how to sear them properly and finish them off in the oven. Some of them that we're going to show you. We're going to have some scallops. I'm going to show you some swordfish, some salmon. We're going to do mahi-mahi. And we are going to do, that's about it. So we're going to start, and the sea bass, which is so important. Sea bass, it's now in every fancy restaurant. They'll charge a lot of money for the sea bass. The sea bass is very expensive. What do we want to do first? I'm going to show you scallops. You want to do a little bit of olive oil and some butter to,
Oh, I want that stove.
I cut it in cubes already. Okay. Butter for the flavor, olive oil again for that smoking point. Remember we've been talking about that. Okay? the key to the fish and any other type of protein that you're searing is once you put it down, do not move it. Do not play with it. Do not be tempted to keep moving it because then you won't get that really nice sear. Okay, I'm gonna start with scallops. Okay. So very juicy, very sweet, okay? I seasoned it, just salt, a very good fresh scallop does not need a lot of anything. Salt, a little bit of salt, and a little bit of pepper, okay? Some chefs put actually a little bit of sugar on top. It helps with the caramelization and the crust that the scallop gets.
You see one else?
Okay, I'm gonna start another one simultaneously here, okay? We had, Chef Ron got us two different types of salmon. We have a wild caught salmon, and then there's a domestic kind. What's the difference? The domestic, or what they call farm raised, obviously is in a controlled environment. The wild cut, it's obviously wild. They just go out and fish them like that. See this nice crust, guys? Just because I didn't move them. Now we're gonna go on the other side.
It also helps to do it in a non-stick pan too, you know.
Yeah.
When you
Get that
said
nice
about
color.
the sugar, when would you put, if you were to put sugar?
Right before putting it down. Right with the salt and your pepper. It just
Okay.
helps with that nice crust.
Chef Ron, did you guys clean it up here already, or you bought it like that?
We bought them like this. Okay?
Nowadays, you're gonna get stuff, it's pretty clean. In restaurants, there's not enough time, it's a lot of labor. Once you pay for that, so it's easier to get it done 1, 2, 3 at a time. So it comes in ready to cook.
You guys do not want to overcook this. This is one fish that you do not want to overcook. Okay? So once, just like we were doing risotto yesterday, you can see still the white in the middle. Same thing with the scallops. You guys are gonna see that it's getting opaque. That means that we're almost there. Okay? I'm gonna. Okay, so now. I was gonna do this one, but we're gonna let Chef Paul go before we take mine out. And then what you want to do is hit it with some fresh lemon, maybe some parsley for some color, or even scallions. Okay.
You don't want to overcook scallops because they get very rubbery, so you're going to do them a little underdone, you know, medium rare, you know.
They will actually carry over the cooking for a few more seconds once you take them off.
Yeah.
Food safety says, ServSafe says 145, but the reality is, now, again, for ServSafe, you can do 145 for all fillets and things like this. But the reality is in restaurants, they do undercooked, fish is generally undercooked, opaque, so maybe around 138 to 143 temperature-wise, just because that's, you do like it that way, but for food safety, it's 145. Okay, I'll switch over to you really fast. What we're gonna do is, as Chef Ron opened up the oysters, a lot of people eat them raw, okay? Not my thing.
That's good.
But, so what we're gonna do is, we're gonna take the oysters, make something called oyster Rockefeller. Two ways I've learned how to make them, there's sort of more, the way I used to make them, is either right in the shell is what we're gonna do, or we used to take, where I used to work in New York City, take out an artichoke, a canned artichoke, you know, they're already cooked, pour out the center, so it's a cup. Take the artichoke, take the oyster meat and put it right inside. And what we do is we take sauteed spinach, we saute with a little clarified butter, garlic, a little seasoning, and we add Pernod, which is a licorice type of liqueur, have a little bit of licorice hint to it, and stuff that right in top. Okay, and then we take a little Mornay sauce, which I'll show you in a minute. So we do the same thing, but right in the shell. All right. And just like any other kind of fish, you don't want to overcook these because they're going to get rubbery, so you just want to undercook them just slightly. So we stuff the shell with some spinach. Okay? And then we take, who knows what Mornay sauce is?
Behind.
They haven't learned mother
Oh.
sauces yet.
Mornay sauce is basically a cream sauce, it's cream sauce. Parmesan cheese in it, it's thickened with roux. Okay, this one has some thicker than most, that's how I want it. So what you want to do is gently put it over the top. So when it goes into the oven, it will not run, it stays in place. And that's what you want. And what we'll do is we'll put a little Parmesan cheese on top to brown it even more, get a nice crust on top. What we used to do is, you know what a salamander is, or a broiler? Basically, an oven or a broiler that you go in and out of. You know, there's no door or anything like that. And it's basically right over the stove in a lot of restaurants. What they do is, when you get this, they'll make it, they'll get the part, then they'll throw it right into the salamander. They call it a salamander for a broiler. And it's done within just a few minutes. Okay, so that's basically how we're going to cook it. We're going to throw it in the oven, and then I'll present it on a plate in 1 second. You want me to do the clams, and then we'll go back to you? Okay, do the clams. Casino?
Can I just
Okay,
show
do
them
that.
this real quick?
Do that.
Okay, guys, I just took this fish out of the oven. You can sear, then finish off in the oven, or go straight into the oven. This is how most places do it. It's very time, it saves a lot of time because you can do this ahead of prep ahead, and then you just pop them in the oven and then you're good, okay? All we did was a nice panko crust with some parsley. We seasoned it with salt and pepper, 400-degree oven, okay? I want to cut this in half so you guys can see, again, fish. It's so important that you guys do not overcook it, okay? It should be slightly pink in the middle, the salmon, okay? Let me see if I can show you guys. It still has the skin on. Do you guys see that?
Yes.
This is the way that you should be eating the salmon. Some people like it completely cooked, and that's fine, but this is the way that it should be, okay? This one right here is the sea bass. We did exactly the same, I did exactly the same thing with the sea bass. Okay? So I'm just gonna plate this, and then when Chef Paul is done with his demo, I'll show you guys how to do, show you how to sear it and then finish it off in the oven.
Okay?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Clams. Okay, you can eat clams raw. A
Best,
little lemon
best
juice, a little
steaks.
hot sauce, boom, down it goes. Again, it's not my cup of tea. So what we're gonna do is, we're gonna make clams casino, okay? Clams casino is, you top it with a breadcrumb. We took a panko breadcrumb, I pre-made it, diced red, green peppers, for a little color, parsley. We used bacon, chopped up bacon. Okay, this pork bacon, so for those that don't eat it, I can't eat pork, I do not try this. A little lemon juice, a little butter, and a little seasoning. And very similar to how we did the oysters. There's garlic in here also. We're gonna stuff it. Okay, and it's gonna bake right in the oven just for a few minutes. But usually it's a nice stuffing. I mean, there's many different ways to do this. After Chef Nani goes, again, I'm going to show you the linguine clam sauce, okay, a white and a red, and then we'll do another dish after that. But this is a traditional clams casino, but you know, a lot of restaurants make up their own little version of it. And make it taste nice. You know, once you get your seasoning down, your crumb down, you know, that's all you gotta do. And again, these things can be made ahead of time, sit in the refrigerator, so you're not making it to order. All right.
Panko is the best one to use, right? For those
Well,
dishes?
panko, because it has a little body to it. Regular breadcrumbs, you know, they're very small. But this kind of stuff can all be done ahead of time, and you know, have backup ready to go. Same with the oysters, and Well, I mean, you know how many you're making on a night on average, you know, you have your statistics, so you make them up ahead of time, so you pop them in the oven when you're ready. Saves you a lot of time.
My arms are not bad.
You also see if you're working at an a la carte restaurant, a lot of the line cooks don't wear gloves. We tell you to wear gloves all the time. The reality is, because you're working with a lot of heat and everything, your hands in the sweat. So it's an understood thing that, you know, you're supposed to be wearing gloves, absolutely. So you'll see that they don't wear gloves a lot of times. There's a lot of heat and stuff, and you just get all sweaty. Okay, Chef Nani, go to the next.
Okay, so I'm about to start searing this. I'm gonna sear this swordfish. Okay, swordfish is a very firm piece, and they call it the fish steak because it's that firm. Okay, so all I want to do is sear it, and then we're gonna finish it off in the oven. Okay. Again, the olive oil and the butter. All right, you want to raise that smoking point of the butter so it doesn't burn. Okay. I just plated the salmon and the sea bass. What else did I want to show you guys? The salmon. Let's sear some salmon now.
Just noise. I hear sometimes that you're supposed to eat more fish. Why?
That you're not supposed to eat raw fish. Swordfish. Well, it might be because of, depending on the water, where it's being caught, the water, maybe it's contaminated, maybe because of it depends on your health, okay? People that have very weak immune systems should not be eating any kind of seafood like that. I don't know exactly what the scientific explanation for that is. All I know is that you cannot eat anything undercooked either. It has a lot of phosphorus. Maybe that's why people with renal disease cannot have phosphorus. Maybe. But I have not heard of that, so I cannot tell you why.
On some fish, the oilier fish, they tend to stay away from like salmon, bluefish. They tend to hold a lot of the mercury in out of your fish. The oil is good for you, but they also hold bad things. So that might be what you're thinking of also. And a lot of times in this kind of cooking, they use clarified butter. Olive oil is generally not used. I mean, butter, they want that buttery flavor. So a lot of times you'll see a lot of clarified butter.
Okay.
You only see it one side?
Because I'm going to finish it off in the oven, and I can control the temperature better that way. Okay. So we just want to do a little bit of salt.
Is that the wild?
Yes.
Let me see the wild and the domestic so they can see the color difference.
Oh well, I cooked the domestic.
Oh, you couldn't? Okay.
That's the one that I finished off in the oven. Okay. If the skin, why cook it with the skin or without the skin? The skin protects the fish, and it keeps it nice and juicy. I don't know if you guys noticed that while I was plating, I'm scraping it off from the skin. I didn't plate it with the skin. It just helps that fish keep really nice and moist until you're ready to serve it. That's all. Okay? You go ahead.
Okay.
I'm about to finish off in the oven.
Usually cook the oysters and the clementine in a broiler, which is much faster. It's taking a little more time here, and it might not get as brown as I want it to. In the broiler will brown to the top. Okay, we're gonna do clams linguine.
How long did you have the temperature for the pan?
It's up at 400, but again, it's more of an oven. I want it more of a broiler look to it. Okay, those are open and ready.
Which one do you want?
Clams.
Both. You want both of them, or you want?
Oh, you know, we're gonna do for the past, right? We're doing mussels, right?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do mussels.
That piece of fish is very easy for you to overcook it, and it'll be ruined.
What's in there, Chef?
Clams.
Okay.
There's
Well, the
cockles.
Let's do mussels separate though. But there's no mussels in there, right?
Come on.
Okay.
It's called the presentation side. Okay.
Those were clams and linguine, right?
Yeah, this is clams and garlic.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Okay? This is what I was just saying to Santiago. I don't know if you guys noticed that we usually do one side nice and a nice crust. This is called our presentation side. So we wouldn't really worry so much about the bottom doing exactly the same thing.
Okay. A little bit tight here. Okay. Linguine white clam sauce. Clarified butter. Okay, some garlic. Okay. And your clams right. Okay. So what happened is a lot of times they'll saute for a second. All right. Add a little. We're using chicken stock. Okay, usually we'll use a clam stock or a shrimp stock. If we didn't have any, we're going to use white chicken stock. It'll do the same purpose. Heat will make them open up. Okay, while that's steaming. What's that?
They scream like crazy.
They scream a little bit too, yeah. Okay, while that is cooking, we're going to make zuppa de peste with mussels. Zuppa de peste. We're going very, very fast. We want to make sure you guys get out of here on time. And really, this is done the same way. It's done in a very, very hot pan, and it's cooked. Are you doing that?
I'm done. See how I'm babysitting it? I could actually see. If you guys can take a look, you see how it's already opaque here. It only has about an inch of pinkness in it. You still want to let it, not completely, because then you'll overcook it. You need to see a little bit of that pink right in the middle, okay? Because it's gonna carry over cooking for a few more seconds, and that'll finish cooking it off. See the salmon over here? You see that little bit of pink that's still left? I'm about to take it in a few seconds, but it will keep.
Just for a top, or is that big enough?
Okay. While this is cooking, linguine clam sauce, mussels, zuppa de peste, made with mussels and red sauce. What we're going to do is, while these two are cooking, take a few minutes to cook up. We're going to make something called shrimp with apple and snow peas. We don't have snow peas, so we're using asparagus today. Usually it's with snow peas. So, add a little clarified butter, which we do not have. We add a little bit of this butter. Okay. I'm going to add a little olive oil so it brings the boiling point, the burning point. We're going to take a nice crisp apple. We're going to cut it, and usually this is cut to order. We're going to cut it in thin wedges with the skin on it. We take the core out, and no, I'm not wearing gloves, you're right? That's what we're thinking.
You got what I say.
While it's getting hot.
Jumbo size shrimp,
Tiger shrimp.
tiger, big shrimp.
Okay, usually, I'm making a little more so you guys can taste, and we're gonna make some more after that. But usually it's made with 5 shrimp. Well, this is the order I make. This is 5 shrimp on a plate. Just gonna check everything going on here. Well, nice. Okay, nice. Here, it's a little hotter. Saute these up. We're working on an electric stove, so you don't want to scrape the plate, which you can see is already. And just like all other fish, when it comes to shrimp, you just want to do a very, very light saute. If you overcook it, they get rubbery. phone going? So all these dishes are done a la minute.
That one, the clams on the top are ready to come out, Chef.
Okay, they started to brown, as you can see. But if we had it in a broiler or a salamander, get a nice browning coating on top. What we're gonna do is, this is for that.
Let's do that one.
Oh, let's do that for the, what's right there?
Oh,
That's for the clams.
that's good. Right in the sink, right in the sink.
Okay, a little parsley. And that's how it's done. Very, very simple. This is Oyster's Rockefeller. It's a very plain color, you know, green, and that's it. Don't go crazy with different colors on this. And it's very developed, people love it. Again, for no, a lot of these seafoods use a lot of alcohol. That's how a lot of it's made with that. It adds flavor. Okay, you see this is almost done. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add my apples. It adds apple flavor. Okay, and it adds a crispness to it. What I would also do here while they're cooking, we all know what the glaze is, right? Okay. Like I said, alcohol is used a lot in seafood. What would you use? White wine? I would use this Applejack brandy. Okay, you want the apple flavor. Okay? We don't have any Applejack brandy, so obviously we're not going to get any flavor.
Just made me want to cry.
What's that? Look at that, huh?
Yeah, they open up, man.
I can get drunk and cook at the same time.
Okay, the mussels are cooking away, very nice. And in a kitchen, in a restaurant kitchen, you're gonna have this going crazy, more than one pan going at one time. So let's just say the mussels are cooked. We're gonna have a little, well, we're gonna make believe this is clam stock, a little clam stock. We have a little red sauce, marinara sauce. We don't have any up here, but we put a little crushed red pepper flakes. So let that finish up for a second while that's cooking. Okay, I would add a little, where's that white wine? I would add a little Applejack brandy. We always pull away from the flame. Because what happens if we add alcohol and there's flame? Right. That's fine. Okay, we add a little, glaze the pan. Again, it should be snow peas. I'm putting a little asparagus into it. Asparagus cooks very, very fast. So I'm just going to put a little bit in there. Once the alcohol cooks down a tiny bit, I'm going to add a dash of heavy cream. So, one of these. Do you have any spoons over there?
Yeah. Plastic?
No, large spoons.
Is that on the burgundy cart?
No, I didn't bring any up. Okay, all right. No, one of the large spoons. Okay. What we're going to do is, this can be served as is or over a little bit of pasta.
I'm sorry.
Okay? So, pasta's pre-cooked in a restaurant, usually like that.